Hello everybody. Today's video took quite a bit of effort to get this fusion done. I didn't have Drake sitting around. I didn't have Skull Swarms. I had 0 Skull Swarms. So I tried to get this out nice and early and the sun's in my eyes. That way you guys can kind of get my opinion on Skull Lord as I was testing him and developing him. I used him over a period of about 5.5 hours, and this video is a accumulation of my knowledge during that time period. I hope you enjoy it. Please do subscribe if you like these type of videos of quick information on these new legendaries. I love you all and enjoy the video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after what was basically entirely too long, I have made this many Swarms into this many Drakes into one mini of these guys. It took me like, what, 24 hours or something? I don't remember. But basically, long story short, I had one Drake ready, not leveled, nothing. And then I had 0 Swarms. So I had to farm them. I didn't even realize I had the Drake. I farmed 16 of them anyway. It took me 6,000 energy. I had green potions already because I have 3 Richtoffs, 2 Mashalds, and 3 Macavs. I'm trying to all ascend up to show you guys like how they work, you know, the new characters that got buffed. So I'm working on those too. So I happen to have green potions already, which also means I happen to have a white potion. So long story short, that white and green potions got it quickly, but it's still like the Skull Swarms were like 6,000 energy. I guess it's not going to be so bad though if you think about it, because you have 3 weeks. You have 3 weeks to do this. I think the most efficient way to do this is, because I auto-clicked it, like I literally got 0 XP bonus, anything. I auto-clicked the stage number 3 and just went to bed. I loaded with energy. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I just went to bed. And I woke up in the morning and like had to sell all of the shields manually, and it took like an hour. But the best way to do this is like start just your normal leveling in the 3 if you want to sell shields or whatever stage, right? Who knows what the drop rate is on this stuff. Like I said, it was 16 or 17 actually for 6,000 for me, but I was on stage number 3. So just put it on there, level your normal stuff into it. When you get a Skull Swarm, throw him in, and then it's like a giant circle jerk of like you get the Skull Swarms and they're leveling up while you get the next one and they're leveling, you know, yada, 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 yada. That's the way they do it. The red potions, I think, are the hardest part of this fusion because you need 1 billion of them. And they even offered like some kind of, it was like $5 and it came with some like small red potions and some medium red potions. They're trying to like nab that. So it was like 20 bucks or something. I ended up buying that, but honestly, you don't even need to. I did it because I wanted to see, let's see, is this how many it's going to take? And it wasn't even enough anyway. I wouldn't bother. Just farm the potions manually would be the cheaper way to do it by far. Long story short, that's how I did it. And that's how I would do it if I wasn't, you know, being a mouth breathing stupid person like I am when it comes to welling out. So that's my personal opinion. So now let's fuse him and let's see if he's actually good or not, because that's the entire point of the video, right? So of course it's going to take us 1 million silver. Here we go. Pow. We now have Skull Sworn, you know, the non-Bruce Banner version. I feel like this is the Hulk, and the Skull Sworn is Bruce Banner. I think that's from now on the name. So now we have the Hulk. And yeah, I guess his basic doesn't need books. This one will probably need books because it will make the 100% provoking all the time. And then this one, yeah, this one definitely needs book too. He actually is kind of like he's a 9-booker is what it looks like. At least the passives still need books. That would be a real bummer if they need the passive books too. So I'm going to have to go ascend him, max him out, and then let's test him. Okay, so now we're going to test him out in the Faction Wars. I've done some testing with him in Clan Boss, and he looks okay. I mean, him plus Ghost Swarm plus some charges does like decent damage. I don't know if he's going to be like some game changer in Clan Boss. It doesn't look like it, okay, but he does look like he can put up some okay numbers. And if he is not in the weak affinity, like I was playing him in the weak affinity where he's borderline useless because you really need those crits on like Ghost Swarm, for instance. I'm talking about them as a pair anyway, in order to game the turn meter. And yeah, he's pretty bad in weak affinity, okay? So if you're playing him against the Void, he might be okay if you don't really have other options, but 50-50 on him in Clan Boss. Now, we're going to try him out in Faction Wars here. I have tried him in Fire Knight as well. Fire Knight was definitely a little bit more encouraging because obviously the multi-hits and the chance to like continue hitting over and over basically makes Fire Knight easier once you get to him, but the problem is he's not good in the waves. I mean, he has the one AoE attack down, but he's really a single target. He falls prey to the same issue that Brackus had when he came out, before people realized that he's quite good versus Rhodos, for example. And we'll talk about how this guy versus Rhodos in a second. But it wasn't that Brackus was really usable in waves or in dungeons or anything, because he didn't really have a means of AoE clearing. And you see here, he's got that AoE provoke, which is cool and all, but it's not really enough to be a game changer. Now, him plus Ghostwarn seems like an actually fairly decent combo as far as the pairing goes, but I have yet to have it be where I'm going to replace anything that's what we would consider already an in or mid-game character. It kind of seems like to me that this guy was meant to be, and did in fact fit the role of, being a decent character for the early to early mid-game players, or for people that either want a fun character that has like cool looking animations with a new dual combo. In all honesty, I don't mind how this character is. He doesn't need to hit incredibly hard for me to find him interesting, and he doesn't necessarily need to be the next Rhodos in Arena for me to find him hilarious either. I will say that it does seem like he's underpowered when using him, but I don't know if necessarily every character has to have power creep, because I've been vocal before about power creep being something that can destroy games. I've been vocal about that in more than just one game, in fact. I mean, all the way back to League of Legends when I was playing that game. And adding new characters that are fun or bring different mechanics that later on you might be able to build upon them, or they fit a certain niche role, isn't necessarily bad. Plus, I do currently believe that there's probably some pretty high tier use for him that hasn't been figured out yet, that I haven't figured out yet. I'm sure they're like, it's not really that smart of an idea, but people were talking about using like, destroy sets, right, to try to reduce HP. For instance, I was thinking about using him plus like Richtophs, to try to like charge in and destroy everyone's max HP or something hilarious like that. I'm going to try a few different builds and really see what I can come across. But my initial impression of him, if you're really looking for somebody that's going to game change your roster and you have decent characters already. I'm saying like you have like a Tayrel or you have like a Steel Skull. Let's say you have maybe like an Alton for your attack down, or a Jareg even for your attack down, Crypt, really any major attack down already. Let's say you've got okay clan boss damage. Even like that rare, the Banshee Queen Poisoner, I think is probably going to do more damage than clan boss. I think there is many other ways to fill the role this character has without you really stretching your neck out there to get a cut off. But I do enjoy the character, okay? If you can understand the separation between those two, that's where I'm at with him. I like him. I don't regret doing the fusion. I did it horribly, inefficiently, and expensively. It cost I think it cost me like $100 to do it in 24 hours or something. And that's with like some hoarded resources. Like I didn't need chickens. I already had white potions and green potions because I was already working on Richtophs and the Macabs and everything. And I had gems already, and it still cost me like $100. So that was with me rushing it, though. I think after farming, it cost me approximately 6,000 energy to be able to get all of the Ghostwarns. And once I did that 6,000 energy, I think it was approximately about another 2,500 to 3,000 energy getting the remaining potions and everything. Okay, so all in all, I would plan for maybe 10,000 energy. I don't know the math, and I'm not going to do the math to figure out like in the next 30 days how much energy is going to generate, and if you have that 10,000 energy, okay, but that's what you should plan for. It's probably going to be about 10,000 energy, it looks like, to get it done. Should you do it? If you are free to play and you have some characters that are immediately usable that you're currently working on, and I'm talking like you pulled some top tier stuff, like you pulled a Warlord, a Vizier, you pulled yourself a Martyr, a Rosh card, maybe from the last thing, Bad L, you pulled Venus, characters that are like, these characters are obviously good to use, and I would recommend leveling them instantly. I don't know if I would stop what you're doing to pick this character up. And the reason I say that is because if you're free to play and you have some good characters to work on, you do not have the sudden acquisition of resources in order to like, okay, well, I want to get the Skull Lord now while he's available and then finish up the Like you will never be in a position to do that. You always have to pick and choose. And so if you have something that's better than him, maybe stay with that just for this reason that your influx of resources will always be the same speed because you're free to play, and maybe this isn't the one for you. But if you are newer free to play or like an alt account or something, and you're highly considering picking him up because one, you don't really have something you're working on currently, or two, you think he just looks really fun, yeah, I say go for it, because for both those reasons are valid reasons. I picked him up, one, because he looked fun, two, I'm a content creator, but I also believe that this character has potential later on. I think that there's some interesting things in terms of his base stats, as other people have mentioned. I'm not the first one to mention that. He has high resistance, high accuracy. I'm sure you could build him extremely high resistance and high defense, high HP in arena, and try to maybe even in immortal gear or something where he's regenerating health, maybe with like a Doom Priest or something to cleanse him. You know, some way you make him stupidly tanky where people can't nuke him, can't burst him down. Maybe if you had a Krisk, that'd be a fantastic one to use, right? So you pair him with something like that, and eventually everyone's health is max by 50%. So then what happens is the Rothos can be one shot, and then you eventually one shot the Rothos without giving him an extra turn or something. I don't know. It's just stuff that comes to my head. I'm sure there's plenty of other things. I've been using him with double charge of Atlanticus and Longbeard, and that's really hilarious just for the meme of him going in and like basically RuneScape dragon clawing out somebody, you know, and getting a glory amulet. That's more or less what he does. But that aside, that's kind of where it ends. That's where the fun's been. Sworn has some potential because I've seen some pretty good numbers out of him. Like, he seems to be hitting harder than actual Skull Lord. Maybe that's the way it's intended because he's based upon attack, and that could have something to do with my gear too. But I mean, if you see here, like, Skull Lords actually can hit less sometimes depending on what's going on. So I found that interesting as well. So you might want to build your Sworn purely damage, let him die, and then have him get resurrected, more turn meter, you know, yada, yada, yada. That's how you do it. Maybe attack percentage boots, things like that. Okay, so this is really the problem with Skull Lord. Here I have him paired in like just kind of a random Fire Knight team with some charges and everything so we can see the damage with him. But really the major issue is that he's really slow when it comes to the waves. He's not really going to bring any utility in the waves at all. Provoking one person doesn't really do anything. I've never had that matter. Strengthening yourself doesn't really matter. You know, in dungeons where you're chewing through damage, you're not like trying to survive, at least for as far as speed clearing goes. And for the most part, if you're like, you know, tuning legendaries, like you're probably trying to speed clear these. You're not really like just trying to feed it. If you are in the position where he's one of your only people you have available for Fire Knight, yeah, he's fantastic because you'll see here that with his multiple chance to hit over and over and over and over and over again, like he can chew through the shield almost himself if he gets lucky enough. But that being said, he still lags it out enough that it doesn't matter. Like, you could just replace him with a Code Heart or something, who's a rare, you know, or I know he's a void rare, but you could replace him with a variety of other characters that would pair better. I mean, I could even see like an Apothecary being better in this exact situation where I can just, you know, speed up the team again. And then when people charge him in, it's a triple hit and all that as well. And there's other people I could see doing a better job. People that aren't necessarily even at the, you know, massive well level. I mean, characters that most people would have. So that's kind of unfortunate because Fire Knight would seem like the place you would really think he would shine. He's pretty cool, and I enjoy him a lot. Maybe if we try pairing him with Sworn or something, but for the most part, I just really haven't been too terribly impressed. And in Dragon, it's kind of the same story when you do Dragon. When you do try chewing through him, unfortunately, Dragon itself tends to be more of like a nuke, max HP nuke situation. You really kind of want like Royal Guards, Code Hearts, something like that if you're trying to do it quickly. And if you're not trying to do it quickly, this guy is still going to struggle because really the only thing he offers is the Giant Slayer procs. And if he doesn't get them, then the Dragon's going to still stun you. And it's just the whole thing. So as unfortunate as that is, I would like to give him a much better rating because I actually really like the character. Like, I have a lot of fun with him. I don't regret fusing him. I don't regret the stuff I spent on him in order to make the video and talk about him. But upon further review and upon further testing, I do not think I can recommend fully going for this character if you are strapped for resources or if you have better things to work on. I think that's kind of my thought process. I think that I like him. He's fun. I think that there's, You know, like I said early in the video, there's probably more that we haven't figured out yet with this guy. There's probably something that can be done in arena with him still. Further testing is needed. But as it stands, I'm going to get this out now for people that are maybe on the fence. Maybe hold off. Maybe give it 3 or 4 more days. I think you still have time, and figure out if other people are really liking this guy or not. I haven't seen anyone really do anything too crazy with him yet. So that's just kind of my personal opinion on it. So thanks everybody for making it all the way into this video end. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing, because I spent 24 hours, way too much money, and a lot of time and hours building out the Sko Lord as well as Sko Sworn. And I would talk more about Sko Sworn and their pairing, but to be honest, the fact that Sko Sworn he's still the exact same rare. I mean, there's nothing that makes him stronger. There's no shared stats. There's nothing like that. So unfortunately, that's kind of where the conversation ends. If I throw him in the team, it's just having a Sko Sworn in the team. And I thought having him revive would be cool, but you realize that your people don't really die anyway. And if I was going to revive people, I'd just use an Arbiter.